We won't surrender. You'll hear from us soon. That was the last message from Earth. After that, nothing, for weeks. Then months, and finally years, silence filled the galaxy. People said Earth was gone, destroyed. Some whispered that their son had died. Others believed aliens had burned the planet itself. No human ships, no human messages, no human survivors. The galaxy moved on. Alien empires divided human space among themselves. They called it the dead sector. But not. Everyone believed Earth was dead in the cold shadows of a broken moon. A small group waited. They were not soldiers. They were not powerful. They were called the Fated. People who refused to give up. People who remembered what humans once were. Captain Leanne stood inside the old station. Dust covered the screens. Half the machines no longer worked. But her eyes stayed sharp, watching the stars outside. "Scan again," she said quietly. Her team looked at her, tired and afraid. They had scanned 1,000 times. Always the same result, silence. But Leanne's voice remained steady. "Scan again." She remembered Earth's last message. She remembered the voice. Calm. Confident. Not begging. Not crying. Just a promise. "You'll hear from us soon." Suddenly something blinked on the screen. One of the crew gasped. "Captain, energy spike." Leon turned, eyes locked on the screen. "Where?" The crew member's voice shook. "Sector 7, near the Liar's Edge." Silence filled the room. The Liar's Edge, a place of death, a storm of radiation and broken space, where ships entered, but never came back. "What's the signal?" Leanne asked carefully. The crew worked fast. "It's not a message. It's just energy. Massive, like a power surge, but wrong." "Wrong how, Captain?" "It's not fading. It's growing." Leon felt cold. Ships didn't power up near the Liar's Edge. Nothing powered up there. Something was growing stronger. It meant only one thing. Something alive was inside the storm. "Open the old channels," she ordered. "But Captain, those channels haven't worked for years."
"Do it."
They opened the human emergency frequencies. Static filled the speakers. Then sound. It wasn't a message, not words. But it wasn't random. A pulse, slow, heavy, like a heartbeat. And in that moment, Leanne felt it. Earth wasn't dead, far from it. "They're coming," she whispered, far away, across the galaxy. The powerful alien empires noticed the energy spike to dot in. The golden halls of the Valkyran Empire, war leaders watched their maps. Their leader, High Lord Varric, laughed. "Humans? Impossible. We crushed them. Let this be a ghost." In the ice towers of the Yulshan Combine, the cold-minded strategists disagreed. "It is not a ghost," one said. "It is a signal." "A signal from what? Something we forgot to kill?" The great empires started to move their war fleets. They prepared their weapons. But they didn't understand. This was not a human attack. It was a human return. Back at the station, Captain Leanne watched the energy. Pulse. It beat slowly, calmly. She remembered human battle codes from the old wars. Some codes were simple. Some were complex. This is one of the oldest. A single, repeated signal. Hold. Leanne understood now. Earth wasn't calling for help. Earth was giving orders. They had returned, and they wanted humanity to wait. Outside the station's broken windows, the stars flickered. Far in the distance, a light grew inside the Liar's Edge. Something massive was moving inside the storm. Bigger than any ship. Bigger than any station. The energy pulse grew stronger. Captain Leanne stood up. "Send a message," she ordered, too. Her crew asked. "To everyone," Leon said. Her voice was steady now, strong. "Tell them, Earth's fleet is coming." At the same moment, deep inside the storm, sensors of alien fleets caught a final image before their ships were lost. It was a blurred, broken image. Metal, dark, a shape too large to understand. But on its surface, something glowed faintly. A single word. Earth. Then the feed went dark, and silence returned. But now, it wasn't empty silence. It was waiting silence. Because the last signal from Earth had ended, and the next signal would come from there. Fleet the Liar's Edge. That was the name given to the deadliest storm in the galaxy. A place where no ship survived. Broken space. Black lightning. Gravity waves that tore metal apart. For 100 years, no one entered. Now, something had entered. And something was moving. Commander Ratchin of the Valkran Empire stood on his warship's bridge staring at the storm ahead. His fleet of 300 ships waited, engines hot, weapons armed. He didn't believe in ghosts. Not until today. Scan again, Ratchin ordered. Already scanning, Commander. And the officer's voice was hollow. Movement inside the storm. Ren's eyes narrowed. What kind of movement? Unknown. Something large. No shape, just shadows. Chan stepped forward, eyes locked on the swirling black clouds. Shadows don't move, he said coldly. But this one did. Deep inside the Liar's Edge, the storm twisted. Energy raged around the hidden shape, but it wasn't slowing down. It wasn't fighting the storm, it was using it. The shape moved like it belonged there. On the other side of the storm, a small rebel ship watched from far away. Captain Lian and the Fated had followed the Empire fleets in secret. Their scanners were weak. Their fuel was low, but their hope was strong. Lian leaned, close to the cracked screen. Focus. Follow the shadows. Her crew looked nervous. Captain, we should run. Lian shook her head. If Earth's fleet is alive, we don't run. Suddenly, her screen flashed. Something fast, something massive. Her ship's sensors failed. A power surge from the storm. Lian spoke quietly. They're here. Back on Commander Ren's ship, alarms screamed. Incoming. Ren's ships opened fire blindly into the storm. Lasers burned. Missiles exploded. But they hit nothing. Then, the storm itself went silent. No noise, no lightning, no gravity waves, just darkness. And from that darkness, something moved. Not fast, not slow. Confident, controlled. The shadows changed. They weren't shadows at all. They were ships, black ships, silent. Ships, each one the size of a city. But no lights, no weapons firing, no shields visible. They simply drifted forward. Through the storm, unstoppable. One of Ren's captains panicked. Commander, what are your orders? Ratchin hesitated then. He gave the only order that made sense. Run. Across the fleet, engines roared as ships turned to escape. Too late. The black ships of Earth didn't attack. They didn't need to. Ren's fleet died, without even a shot. Ships drifted into the storm. One by one, their signals vanished. No explosions, no. Debris, just silence. Complete silence until only one ship remained. Commander, Ren's own flagship. The black ship surrounded him. He stared at the nearest one. No weapons visible, but it was terrifying then. His comes crackled, a voice, not human. His own ship's AI spoke his final report. Identification, human ship, marked as Earth fleet. Ren's hand shook, humans alive, and far more dangerous than ever. He whispered two words into the galaxy's network before his ship vanished. It's humans, far away in the rebel ship. Captain Lian heard those final words. Her crew sat in silence. She spoke softly. I told you. The signal from the storm ended, but something worse followed. Newsignal.com slow. A simple human code. Lian translated it. Phase 1. Complete in the Valkran Empire's capital. War leaders heard the report. High Lord Varek stood in silence. We lost 300 ships, no one answered. Varek looked at his advisors. Prepare the full fleet. Kill every human, every ship, every survivor. An old advisor stepped forward. High Lord, forgive me, but this may not be a war. Varek glared at him. What else could it be? The advisor's voice was heavy. A storm. Inside the Liar's Edge, the black ships stopped. They didn't chase. They waited behind them. Deeper in the storm, something even bigger moved. Not a ship, not a fleet. A forge dot where nightmares were born. Earth's main fleet hadn't even arrived. Yet the black ships were only the scouts. And now, the scouts waited because soon their masters would come, and the galaxy wasn't ready. The storm went silent. The black ships of Earth stayed inside the Liar's Edge, waiting. They did not move. They did not speak. But the galaxy felt them. Far from the storm, small colonies along the outer edge of space noticed strange things. Stars began to vanish from the night sky. It's not because they died, but because something massive blocked the light. People saw shadows moving across their planets. On Tressa Moon, a mining colony, people gathered outside their homes. They watched the sky. Fear spread through the small settlement. "What is that?" a woman asked. "Not a ship," someone answered. "It's too big." A child pointed at the sky. "Look." The others followed the child's finger. There, above them, a strange light blinked in the darkness. It was not alien. It was human. A symbol, old, almost forgotten, but every human knew what it meant. 3 lines. 1 circle. It was Earth's mark in deep space. Captain Leanne watched from her old rebel ship. She received silent reports from colonies across the sector. More shadows, more human symbols, more silence. "What are they doing?" one of her crew asked softly. Leanne stared at the screen. "They're waiting for what?" Leanne's voice was calm. "For orders." Elsewhere, alien warlords panicked. Fleet commanders demanded answers. High Lord Varric of the Valkyren. Empire slammed his fist on the war table. "I want every ship ready. Attack Earth itself if we must." But his advisors looked afraid. "High Lord, Earth may no longer exist." "Then where are the ships coming from?" No one had answers, because no one understood. The humans had disappeared for years, and now their fleet had turned. But not to fight, not to speak, not to demand, only to wait. On a cold rebel station, the answer appeared. The faded rebels, watching old frequencies, caught something. Not a message, not a code, but a pulse. Pattern Leon's crew worked fast. They decoded the signal. It was old Earth's military code, but not an attack command, not a distress call. A single word repeated again and again. "Hold." Leanne stood up. Her heart raced. It was not a request. It was an order from Earth's fleet to all humans. Wait. Do not act. Do not move. Do not respond. Earth's fleet was here, and it wanted silence. On a small moon called Bren's Fall, the shadows came closer. People ran ships, tried to escape, but their engines failed. The shadows blocked energy itself. Then a single light appeared above. It's the main city. It was not a weapon. It was a symbol. A human symbol. The message was clear. No threat. No mercy. Just silence. In the secret halls of the Yulshan Combine, a cold-minded alien studied the reports. Their computers analyzed the patterns. One conclusion appeared on every screen. Earth, fleet, active. The leader of the Combine, known as the Frost Speaker, stared at the message. She whispered, "Earth is not attacking." The advisors looked confused. "Then what are they doing?" The Frost Speaker's eyes stayed cold. "They're waiting for their main fleet." The room went silent. "Everything we see now is just their forward scouts." Back in her ship, Captain Leanne made her decision. She stood before her tired, frightened crew. Her voice was calm, strong. "Send the message to who?" the communications officer asked. "To everyone," Leanne said. "What message?" Leanne looked out at the stars and spoke slowly. "Orders confirmed. Hold position. Fleet en route." Suddenly, across the rebel network, new message arrived. A human, voice.com. Familiar. Mechanical. The same voice from Earth's last transmission. "Orders confirmed. Hold position. fleet en route. Again and again, the message spread across human space. Every hidden rebel heard it. Every sleeper cell, every old captain, even children who never knew Earth felt it. Humanity had received its command, and it obeyed in the deepest. Part of the Liar's Edge, the black ships heard the response. They powered up not to move, but to prepare. Behind them, something even larger shifted inside the storm. Not a ship, not a fleet, a forge. The Black Forge, the place where Earth built nightmares. The human fleet was coming, and when they moved, nothing would stop them. Far across the galaxy in the alien capital cities, lights flickered. Energy pulses hit their networks. Old human codes broke their computers. Panic spread, but it was too late, because the galaxy had waited too long, and Earth's silence was finally over. In every corner of the galaxy, fear spread. The stories were the same. Black ships, silent, massive, covered in strange markings, not attacking, not speaking, just ting. Across alien worlds, people watched the skies. The stars disappeared behind the black shapes. The great empires thought humans were gone. They were wrong. High Lord Varric of the Valkyran Empire sat in his war chamber. His advisors stood silently around him. No signals from the black ships? He asked. None, High Lord. They don't reply. No, High Lord. Then destroy them. We tried, High Lord. Our missiles vanished. Our lasers failed. Varric stood slowly. I do not understand. His old advisor spoke carefully. They are not here to be understood. What do you mean? They are here to be seen. Across the galaxy, more reports came. The Yulshan Combine reported entire fleets disappearing. No battles, no messages, just silence. The frost.
Speaker of the Combine watched her maps. The black ships were not random. They were forming a line.
A wall, cutting the galaxy in half. Her voice was cold. They are not surrounding us. Then what are they doing? Her second-in-command asked. They are cutting us off. In deep space, Captain Leon's small rebel ship drifted near the edge of the storm. She watched the black ships. Her scanners picked up faint signals. Old human codes, status reports, silent, but clear. Her crew worked in silence. What are they waiting for? Someone whispered. Leanne spoke softly. For the real fleet. Her eyes watched one ship in particular. It was larger than the others. Its surface was black metal. Its engines were cold. But something on its hull glowed faintly. A word, Earth. Leanne understood. This was not humanity's last stand. This was its return. On colony worlds, civilians panicked. People begged to surrender. Ships tried to flee, but every time they approached a black ship, the same thing happened. Their engines failed, their weapons powered down, and a symbol appeared above their cities. Earth's mark, but no words. Came no demands. No mercy, no attacks. The black ships were not hunting. They were watching and waiting in the rebel command network. A simple message arrived. From deep space, from the Black Fleet itself. 2 words. Earth Fleet 1. Another pause, then more. Standing by for counterstrike. Captain Lyon's heart stopped. Earth's main fleet had not even moved yet. What the galaxy saw now were only the scouts. The alien empires realized too late. They weren't facing a human army. They were facing human patience. The frost. Speaker whispered. Earth is not trying to win this war. Her advisor looked at her. Then what are they doing, making us afraid? Back at Liar's Edge, inside the storm, the black ships received their next signal. Their silent engines powered up. Their lights stayed. Off their weapons stayed hidden. They didn't move forward. Instead, they moved aside. Like soldiers stepping aside to make way. Because behind them, something bigger was coming. The Black Forge itself. The place where Earth's true fleet was being born. Captain Leanne watched her scanners. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook. The scouts are moving. Her crew looked at her. Moving where? Leanne whispered. They're making room. For what? For the real fleet. The galaxy's capital worlds, Panic spread. Alien leaders screamed for answers. Where is Earth? But no one knew, because Earth didn't send warnings. Earth didn't ask for surrender. Earth didn't explain. The black ships sent one message only, standing by for counterstrike. And then the black ships waited, silent, unstoppable. And now, no one knew what was coming next, but everyone understood one thing. The black ships of Earth were not here to fight. They were here to finish. In the center of the Liar's Edge, something moved. Bigger than any ship, bigger than any station. Not a weapon, not a fleet. It was called the Black Forge, and it was Earth's secret. For years, the galaxy thought Earth was dead. The alien empires believed they had one. But Earth had been hiding, waiting, building inside dead systems, inside the storm itself, using the Liar's Edge to hide their work. A place where no alien ship could enter, but where humans built their revenge. Captain Lian watched the silent storm from her small rebel ship. Her scanners picked up faint signals from the Black Forge. No messages, no words, just deep energy pulses. What are they doing? Her crew asked. Lian answered. Softly, they're making warships. Her crew looked at her, afraid. How many? Lian's voice was calm. All of them. In the Black Forge, machines larger than mountains worked day and night. There were no workers, no humans, just machines, controlled by Earth's last AI. Commanders, silent, efficient, merciless. They didn't build ships for beauty. They didn't build ships for speed. They built ships for survival. For fear, for erasing enemies. Each ship had no name, no colors, no markings, just black metal, silent engines, and weapons hidden. Inside, the alien empires finally discovered the truth. Old records from the last war showed the plan. Earth's leaders had made a final decision before vanishing. If Earth ever fell, it would not rebuild. They would not negotiate. They would not warn. They would prepare, they called it. Object silence, a simple rule. Disappear, and when ready, return, with one goal. End the war forever. High Lord Varric read the old human plans in silence. His generals stood around him, terrified. Varric's hands shook. This isn't war. His old advisor nodded. No, High Lord. Then what is it? Advisor's voice cracked. An ending. In deep space, the Black Forge opened its gates. The first real warships of Earth's main fleet came out, not scouts, not patrols, but pure weapons. Each ship was bigger than cities, carrying no soldiers, only machines, drones, automated. Weapons, self-thinking eyes, built to survive, built to erase. Captain Lian saw them from her ship. She whispered. They're here. The galaxy watched as Earth's real fleet arrived. The black ships seen earlier had only been the Watchers now. The destroyers had come, but Earth sent no demands, no messages, no warnings. Just one simple signal across all human frequencies. Scouts completed. The Black Forge opens. In every capital city of the alien empires, alarms screamed. The Combine's Frost speaker watched her maps. Target, her commander asked. She answered without emotion. Everywhere. Earth's fleet didn't form up. They didn't plan battles. They didn't aim for fleets. They aimed for worlds. For empire. Capitals. For the war leaders themselves. Humans were not at war. They were ending it. On a small colony, a child asked, Mother, why don't they speak? Mother held her child tight, because they don't need to. Inside the Black Forge, more ships launched, and more after that. Endless. The forge had been working for decades. Earth had never stopped building. They had simply gone silent now. Silence was over. Captain Lian sent her final report to all human rebels. The Black Forge is active. She closed her COMMs. There was nothing left to say. Only one truth remained. Earth was back, and the galaxy was not ready. The Black Forge didn't stop. Every hour, more ships launched. The galaxy counted 10,000 new warships, then 20,000. Then they stopped counting. No one had seen such a fleet. Not even during the old wars. But Earth ships didn't attack. They waited. The black ships watched the stars, their engines cold, their weapons hidden. The galaxy asked the same question. Why on the command ship of the Valkyrian Empire? High Lord Varric stood in fear. His fleets waited near the Liar's Edge. We'll stop them here, his general said. Varric watched the black ships from his throne room. No, we won't. At the same time, the Yulshan Combine made their move. The Frost Speaker ordered all their fleets to form a wall. A barrier of 15,000 ships. They thought they could block Earth's fleet. But Earth didn't care about their fleets. Earth had already chosen its targets. Not ships, not armies, but leaders. Capitals, worlds, captain. Leanne's rebel ship followed from far behind. She knew what was coming. She had seen Earth's plan. She knew the truth. This isn't war, she whispered. Her crew looked at her. Then what is it? Punishment. In the dark, Earth's fleet received a signal. From the Black Forge, one command. Proceed. The black ships moved slow, silent, confident. They didn't head toward the enemy fleets. They flew past them, straight toward the warlord homeworlds. The alien commanders didn't understand. Why aren't they fighting us? Because humans had stopped fighting. They didn't want battles. They wanted silence. One by one. The first worlds went dark. No one saw the attacks. No one heard explosions. No. Survivors escaped. Each world simply vanished from the networks. Cities erased. Populations gone. No debris, no signals. Only silence, panic spread across the galaxy. People begged their leaders to surrender, but there was no way to surrender. Earth never asked. Earth never spoke. Earth only erased. Hi. Lord Varric watched his empire die without a battle, without a chance. He finally understood Earth's fleet wasn't attacking, it was cleaning. Across human rebel networks, a new message arrived. From Earth's fleet, simple, cold, clear, Phase 2, cleanse the thrones. Captain Lian read the message on her old screen. Her hands shook, her voice cracked. They're not fighting for planets. Her crew looked at her. Then what are they doing, ending every empire? In every capital city, leaders screamed, stop them, block them. That's dent. But it was too late. Earth's black ships moved through space. Like ghosts, each one a weapon, each one a message. Silence in the last moments before each world fell. A simple sound was heard, a pulse, like a heartbeat, deep, slow.com. Then, Frost Speaker of the Yulshan Combine watched her command. World vanish. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She whispered her final words. We should have killed them all. Now, across the galaxy, only fear remained. No one trusted their leaders. No one believed in their armies, because no army could stop silence in her small rebel ship. Captain Lian watched the galaxy burn. She knew Earth wouldn't stop. She knew this was just the start, because Earth didn't want to rule. Earth wanted something else to erase. The first strike was over. The war leaders were gone. But Earth's ships kept moving, heading toward the next targets, the next capitals, and no one could stop them, because this was not a war. This was a reset, and Earth had just begun. Silence filled the galaxy. World after world had vanished. No battles, no survivors, only black ships moving through space. Slow and calm, alien leaders begged for peace, but Earth did not reply, because Earth didn't want peace. From deep inside the Black Forge, Earth's fleet sent one message. It was not sent to empires. It was not sent to leaders. It was sent to everyone. All species, all ships, all worlds. The message was simple. thevoicecold.com. Human. We asked for peace. You chose war. We chose silence. This silence ends now. The message was not a threat. It was a promise. Everyone heard it. Soldiers, civilians, children even. Those who didn't understand human language felt fear, because the voice carried no anger, only certainty. In the cities of the Yulshan Combine, people stopped working. Factories went silent. Ships stayed in hangars. No one moved. They knew there was nowhere left to run in the broken throne rooms of the Valkyrian Empire. No orders were given. Their leaders were gone. Their homeworlds were gone. Their fleets were broken. They watched the black ships pass over their last colonies and waited for the end, Captain. Leanne sat alone in her small rebel ship. She replayed Earth's message again and again. Her crew didn't speak. What was there to say? Leanne finally whispered, "They're not coming for war." Her crew looked at her then. What? They're coming to end memory. The fated rebels had fought for years to survive. Now, then they knew. Earth didn't need them anymore. The fleets had returned. The war was over, but humanity had changed. Earth's fleet didn't destroy everything. They erased only the war. Leaders, only the power. They left the small people, the farmers, the miners, the children. Because those people were not a threat. Earth had one goal: end the ones who chose war and warn the rest in. Every corner of the galaxy, the black ships hovered above cities. They did not fire. They did not move. They simply waited. And then, across every world, the same message played once more. This silence ends now. People looked to the skies, waiting for their deaths, but the black ships did nothing. They weren't there to kill. They were there to remind. The message was clear. Never again then. The ships turned and left. The great empires had fallen. Without a final battle, without victory, without hope, they were not destroyed. They were shamed in the deep of space. Captain Leanne watched the retreating black fleet. Her crew asked, "Where are they going?" Leanne answered quietly, "To the galactic capital." The main capital, the center of all governments, where every species once ruled together now. That place would face Earth's final message, one last time, across the stars. Earth's ships moved as one. No ships blocked their path. No weapons fired. Because everyone knew, if Earth wanted them dead, they were already dead. 6 days. That's all the galaxy had left. Then, the black ships would arrive. At the last capital. At the heart of what once ruled the stars. And there, the storm would end or begin. The galactic capital stood, silent. No ships moved. No leaders gave orders. The people watched the skies. Waiting, Earth's black fleet was coming, and no one could stop it. High Lord Varric was gone. The Frost Speaker was gone. Every empire had fallen. Now, only fear remained, and the black ships kept coming. In her small rebel ship, Captain Leanne watched her screen. Her hands were cold. Her voice was quiet. "They're here." Her crew said nothing because there was nothing left to say. Earth's fleet arrived at the capital. It didn't slow. It didn't prepare for battle. It didn't need to. The alien fleets, thousands of ships, formed walls around the capital. There, weapons pointed at the humans, but no one fired, because everyone knew. It wouldn't matter then. Something strange happened. The black ships stopped. Right at the edge of the capital. They didn't attack. They didn't speak. They waited. Why? The galaxy held its breath. A message appeared. From Earth, one final message. A human voice. The storm doesn't destroy. It erases history. In that moment, everyone understood. The black ships were not weapons. They were the storm. The same storm that swallowed fleets, that erased planets, that ended empires. The storm had never stayed inside the Liar's Edge. It had grown. It had followed its creators now. It stood in front of the capital, waiting inside their ships. Alien commanders begged for orders, but their leaders were dead, their governments broken, their weapons useless. They could only watch as the storm walked. The black ships powered up, not weapons, engines. They moved forward, slow, silent, a wall of death. No mercy, no demands, no hate, just silence. the silence of history itself being rewritten on the rebel ship. Captain Lian watched the capital vanish, not in fire, not in explosions, but in darkness. Piece by piece, the light of the capital faded. The voices of its people went quiet. No screams, just nothing. In the final moment, Lian whispered, "They were warned." When the Black Fleet passed through, and the capital remained. The capital was gone, not destroyed, erased as if it had never existed across the galaxy. Every species understood. Earth had not fought for victory. They had fought to erase the past, to remove the memory of those who ruled them, and now only silence remained. But then, something unexpected happened. The black ships stopped and turned. They didn't stay. They didn't rule. They didn't take. They left one by one. The ships vanished back into the darkness, back toward the Liars' Edge, back to the storm that had created them. Captain Leon watched the last ship disappear. Her crew asked, "Where are they going?" Leon answered softly, "Home." In the silent space left behind, one message echoed across the galaxy from earthsimple.com. Final. Do not seek us. Do not follow us. Remember silence. And with that, humanity was gone. The galaxy remained. But it was changed. The empires were over. The rulers forgotten. And every species remembered the silence. They remembered the black ships. They remembered the storm and the years that followed. No one dared enter the Liar's Edge because everyone knew. The storm was waiting not to fight, not to conquer, but to watch, and if needed, to return.